Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Turtle Grayskull figure Rattler by Mattel. Now I'm really excited about this guy. So as we all been starting to see that now Turtles of Grayskull is getting into the snake people. I think I might have already did one or two reviews on these guys, but this guy I was particularly excited about because when I was looking at him when he was coming on the pre-order, he just looked really wicked and twisted, especially because, and we'll get a little bit more into this obviously when we go reviewing the figure, where it looks like his head is open and his soul is coming out of it. And I thought that was kind of twisted looking, or like the head, or like the extra head is like his innards coming out or something. So I thought that was looking really cool. So I'm excited to see how they do it on the actual figure. So with that being said, first off, I want to thank everybody who has subscribed. You're very much appreciated. And for anybody who does watch this video and hasn't subscribed yet, then I please ask that you subscribe and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist and my Masters of the Universe playlist. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here he is in packaging. I love the packaging for him. So originally these figures had your basic Masters of the Universe look to their packaging, the exploding rocks, with some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle aspects added to them. But this looks really cool. I like that they changed it. So now you got your Turtles of Grayskull with slime and ooze all over it. You got these really cool snakes on there. I really like that a lot. His name. Then you got this nice clear window so you can see the figure and his accessories. Masters of the Universe, Turtles of Grayskull. Spin it here. You got your Mattel logo. Come around to the back. Boom. You get this beautiful art. I love the art for this. That's one thing that I always loved about the Masters of the Universe line is they always had really cool artwork all the way back to the original figure. So up in this corner, you got Masters of the Universe, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You got Rattler fighting Clamp Champ. And you got Mechaneck here in the background, which looks really cool. Includes comic book. You got Reptile Wars, all the figures that are part of this line. And then you got a bunch of legal underneath. So, whoosh. With all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. First off, he's a really cool looking figure. I love the overall look to him. Now we're going to get into the points of articulation first. So starting with the head. Now the head's a little bit of an issue with him at this point because you can't get much movement in the head due to his other heads, which I guess you would consider the cow at this point, interfering with it. So when I try to move it, you get a little bit of movement and you run the risk of the head popping off. So it's obvious that this head was designed more to be used with the telescoping effect, which we'll get into in a little bit. So you do get some movement in there, not a whole lot. Same with the jaw. The jaw will open, but it almost pops the head off. Okay, so you do have a shoulder joint with a swivel. You got an elbow joint. Eventually, there it goes. And a wrist joint. Okay, get those arms up. You do have a joint here at the hip. All right. Spin them around this way. You got a thigh joint, a knee joint, a swivel at the calf, basically. And you do have an ankle joint. So everything wants to work pretty well with him. I don't have any real issues with his joints. All right. So now we're going to get more into, get this leg to cooperate. Get into his finer details. All right. So first off, don't want to stand right. There we go. So first off, let's look at the front. We'll look at the head more when we get into his accessories. just because of the fact I'm going to take the head off to do that, and we'll get just a lot better look at it. So you got this armor here, this pink armor with an eye in the middle. I do like that. I like the overall translucent look to his arms and legs. I think that looks really cool. Spin him around to this side here. All right. Not a whole lot to talk about on this side other than, what we already saw. We bring his arm down. You have like this red skin. With the red skin parts, what it looks like they were trying to do with it was to make it look like his old skin bursting out of the translucentness, but it kind of works, but it doesn't. It just looks like it's painted on. But when you look at the artwork, you can definitely see that it's meant to be like a bursting out effect. So now you have his actual head here, which is on the outside of his skull, because basically that's what the other head is his skull and flesh being pushed out of his mouth, which I find kind of twisted and cool. Got the back end of his armor here, which is more that pink translucent. Now you got two peg holes here for a shield or other weapon, because I'm sure this is probably a universal style that they're using, because a bunch of your other Turtles of Grayskull figures, they would come like a shield and it would hook onto the back. He doesn't come with anything like that, so that just tells me right there that this is a universal mold. And you got his tail that comes down here. You do get some movement in the tail, but not a lot. And he gets the iconic rattling sound. Right? Come back to this side. Pretty much the same thing as the other side. And back around to the front. All right, so now we're going to start looking at his accessories. And in all honesty, he doesn't come with a lot, which is a bit of a disappointment. So he comes with these two shoulder pieces. Actually, they're kind of arm gauntlet pieces. So you got this one here. This here. And then you got your two neck pieces. So you have this. Now look at this. Okay. So this is his spinal column here. So I'm going to guess it's probably like his spine infused with the goo or whatever, or maybe that's supposed to be his muscle tissue and stuff. So that's kind of twisted how they did this up, because the original version of him, before I get into that, there's the other piece. The original version of him does have an extending neck, both in the original toy and the origin line. So what they did was they took it to the next level, and instead of his whole head coming up, it's literally his spinal column and skull coming right out of his mouth to extend. So I think that's a little bit on the twisted side. And me personally, I love it. I think that's like really cool. So now let's start looking at this stuff on him. So these things just clip on to his forearms. There's not any kind of real magic to them. All right, there's one. Hey, there's, oops. So there's the one on this shoulder. I'm sorry, this arm. And there's that one on that arm. All right, now let's get into the head and neck. These extensions, they just pop together. Go. So those two pop together like that. Pop the head off. Now let's get a good look at this head. Let me get this on here. So the head looks really cool. Like, I love the detail in it, the shape and everything. And like you saw earlier, the mouth does open. And you could definitely tell that this is meant more to design like this. Then when you pull his actual face off, so there's his head sculpt. All right. And that pops on here. And then the neck comes through here like this. I mean, it's literally coming out of his mouth. There it goes. Right. Oop. So there you have it, bursting out of his mouth. Like I said, that is kind of a twisted play on the original figure, but overall, it all works with them. Oh, and of course, like all the other Masters of the Universe figures, he does come with a comic book. I kind of like this artwork. That looks really cool. You know, got some good artwork on the inside. And then on the back, it shows all the figures that are on this current wave. So now let's get into my final thoughts with this figure. So first off, he's an awesome looking figure. I love the overall look to this guy. I like how the translucent flesh kind of mixes in with his normal skin. I feel like they though could have did that a little bit better. Like in the arms and the legs. It just looks like a paint over, but it still works for this figure. I like this whole neck effect here, how it's bursting out of his mouth. I really like that. It's a bit twisted, which makes it cool to me. All his joints work very well. Didn't have any issues with his joints. All his neck extensions and stuff work very well with them. I don't have any problems with that. The same with his two forearm gauntlets. They work very well. There's a few things I'm disappointed with this figure. One, I would have liked to have seen him come with some sort of weapon, maybe a staff, a sword, or something. I just would have liked him to have some sort of weapon, and that's a personal preference, just something. The head, when you don't have the extensions on and you just have the head in the mouth, it wants to sometimes come off, like especially if you're trying to move it around, it might pop off. So that would be my only other issue with this figure. So the question is, would I recommend this figure? Absolutely. I do love the overall look to this figure. I think he's a really cool looking figure. And I think he'd be a great addition to either your Masters of the Universe or your Turtle collection. So with that being said, I hope you guys did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Masters of the Universe playlist and also my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.